Let's do one more of these real quick. Let's say we have something like, I don't know, 2x times x plus 1 plus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Okay, so this is what I have. What would the greatest common factor be? Well, there's a lot going on here, and you might get confused with the parentheses here, but this is three things all times each other. And this is two things, or you could see it as three things if you want to think of the 4 as a 2 times 2. But it's a bunch of things times each other. So if instead of multiplying this all out, I wanted to just say, hey, this is something times x plus 1, this is something times x plus 1, I can pull an x plus 1 out of both. That's a great way to do this. In fact, I can pull a 2x plus 1 out. I'm going to use a square bracket parentheses here just to emphasize that I'm getting rid of this. And I put an x here. And what would I have left here? I would have that. I could have used normal parentheses just for extra emphasis because I was pulling out. It's fine to do that. So this leaves me with this. And I have a product of three things which is equal to 0. Well, the 2 is never going to be 0. So the only way this product is going to be 0 is if we have x plus 1 equals 0 or x plus 2 equals 0. And this would give me x equals minus 1, and this would give me x equals minus 2. Now, some of you may say, hey, I'd rather do this problem a different way. I might want to multiply all of this, out first. So I get a 2x squared here and a 4x. And sure, there's lots of ways to do this problem. But when I first look at this, I'm seeing the form that it's been given to me. And it looks like the problem is asking me to notice these 2x plus 1s. So it looks like there's a shortcut, and the person who wrote the problem is actually asking me to notice this shortcut. So if you want to do this another way, that's absolutely fine. We can do it other ways. But here, it looks like I'm being given a hint in the beginning of the problem. What would happen if I did multiply it out? If you really want to insist. Well, I'll get a 2x squared plus 2x plus 4x plus 4 equals 0. And that gives me a 2x squared plus 6x plus 4 equals 0, which I could write like this. Okay, but now I have to factor this. And things like this do come up extremely often. This is actually going to be one of the main things we want to be able to do before this section's over. So let's move on, but let's try to get some techniques for sort of factoring a quadratic if we end up in this situation. And hopefully you wouldn't have done that here, or maybe you did and you know how to factor a quadratic. That's okay. But there's going to be many different ways to get to the answer in each one of these problems. So this is just an example of that. And it also gives us some motivation for what we want to be able to factor next.